Hello, Ricky here again. Today I want to do my what's in bloom at the end of February 2023 video, and I hope you'll enjoy what we've got. Inevitably we've got some that have gone over. Pink Twilight has dropped its last flower off the main spike, and I've just left the spike to see whether it'll branch or not. It's still green all the way to the tip. And we've got some new ones. My orange epidendrums come out again, which is nice. And one that I'm really going to be pleased to show you. So, without further ado, more my waffle, let's get on with it. Let's start with the Phalaenopsis, shall we? I've got this one, which is just a bog standard hybrid. You've seen this quite a lot before. I'm having a lot of problems with mealybugs on this one. I keep spraying it, but I never seem to quite catch all of them. But there's not a lot. It's sort of more concentration on the tip of in and around the flowers. Never seem to get any around the body of the plant. But I am having problems with it, and it's going to need spraying again by the looks of this, although no, most of those are dead. So probably give it another spray just to be on the safe side. I'm using SB Plant Invigorator on this one, which is not a systemic, so really you can spray it as often as you like, and apart from it might conceivably damage the buds, you're okay. But in terms of buds, we've got several, as you can see there, that are still coming. So this spike's not over by some weeks, I think. This little purple no ID Phalaenopsis is giving me a little bit of concern. It's dropped 2 leaves, and this next one is not looking wonderful. The roots green up okay, and the last 3 leaves are still firm, but I'm really hoping that this is going to sort itself out and we'll see some new growth before long, because it didn't flower for a long time. It flowered once last year, it's now flowered again. But as I say, now it's dumping leaves, so not a great thing. I suppose if I lose it, well, I lose it. You can argue there's nothing special about it, it's just a little purple fowl, but I like it. This is Pink Clouds. Another one's got some mealybugs on the flower, so that'll have to be sprayed before it goes back. One that I got as a seedling through the East Midlands Orchid Society. I won it in the raffle. They're only a couple of pound for the seedlings, so they were a bargain however you got them. Quite pretty, similar to Pink Twilight, but the flowers aren't as big, and the whole plant as it stands is not as big, but we'll wait and see, because some of these smaller phals can get quite a lot bigger. But Pink Clouds. Another no idea, and another particular favourite of mine. Little Phalaenopsis I originally bought several years ago now. We'd gone down south for a break, which also included Bournemouth's 60th anniversary show. And I was looking around looking for a glass jar to try and keep my Vandas in, and I found one which had this planted, so it was a lot smaller then. And as I was saying about the last one, this is quite a lot bigger than it was in that jar when I first got it. But it's a really nice plant. I love the particulars of the flower. We're a second spike over there, and it taught me something. I think I've mentioned this before. This leaf, the tip became damaged and it stopped growing. And it suggests to me that these leaves grow from the tip, not from the base. So that's I don't know what it means, as I've said many times before. I'm an engineer, I'm not a botanist, but intriguing thought. I tend to think of things growing from the base, and that obviously doesn't. It grows from the tip. Now this, which you would expect to be some kind of Phalaenopsis, is actually nothing of the kind. It's certainly a hybrid, absolutely gorgeous, I'm sure you'll agree with me. But it's actually Renanthera bella crossed with what you're probably going to call Phalaenopsis these days, but it was then Doretaenopsis purple gem. And as you can see, for all the world, it looks just like a little miniature Phalaenopsis. And this is the first time that this has flowered in about 4 or 5 years. Never done any good, and this year it suddenly put some new growths up and flowered. Now you'll notice that there's a cut leaf there. That leaf and the one immediately underneath it, which is also had to cut, it developed some sort of infection that meant the cells were collapsing, and it wasn't great. And I've had several goes at cutting it, and I finally seem to have got beyond the infected area, and hopefully I've stopped it. But that was a bit of a worry, because I really don't want to lose this, because although it doesn't look perhaps as much like a Renanthera as it does looking like a Phalaenopsis, I think it's absolutely delicious. So this is Renanthera bella crossed with Phalaenopsis or Doretaenopsis purple gem. One you certainly haven't seen before. Mini Mark. It's almost getting boring seeing this every month, isn't it? This spike looks as if it's finished. It tends not to branch, this one. We've got some shortish ones back here that are also flowering. There were several spikes came out at more or less the same time, but it's doing not too bad, like most of the flowers. I've had this quite a long time now, like 2017 I think. I bought this and I've had it 6 years, and it's never failed to flower. In fact, sometimes I've actually sort of cut the spikes off because I was thinking I really want it to do something. It's just thrown another spike out. This is another one you've seen before. This is one that I got as a no ID. Somebody has told me it's probably, I thought it was one called Fancy Fresco. Somebody's told me it's probably Fuller's Sunset Golden Sun. But there do seem to be quite a lot of Phalaenopsis that look like this. you can see it's quite a big plant when it gets going. This is starting to get back to where it was a few years ago. And I got this about 2017. It was a big plant, very big plant, and it was really had problems with mealybugs. I had great problems with it. I lost the other one I bought from the same place, which is now long gone. And it was, it struggled an awful lot. After that, I think it had one of those things where it thought it was dying and it flowered just to try and produce seed as a last act, and it basically flowered itself out and then just collapsed, dumped a load of leaves. I had major problems with it, and I'm now finally getting it back together again. It's now flowering regularly. It's never hit the heights that it did before, but this last leaf is now getting to be the kind of size it wants to be. I still don't think it's quite as big as it was before. It was something more like Pink Twilight, which is a bigger plant again, but pretty good. This is Avoyles Techiara No ID. I think I'm losing it. I think I am losing it. I'm going to have to fetch it out of the pot and have another go. I think it's not been repotted ever such a long time. But it isn't happy. It's a climber. These back bulbs are flat and failing. This one's failing. It's dumping leaves. So I think I need to get it out of the pot and just try and have a look and see what it's doing. Because it climbs, the roots struggle to get down into the bark, and as I say, it's lost a lot of its vigour. So if I'm going to do any good with it at all, it's got to be repotted and looked at again. But it is a bit touch and go. I'm finding with a lot of the Oncidium tribe, especially the ones that are cooler growing, that I can grow them for a couple of years, and then they exhaust themselves and I lose them, and that seems to be what I'm doing with this one. Paphiopedilum morii femma. 3 fans have flowered this time. This one quite clearly is over. That'll drop very soon. I don't suppose it'll be too long before these go as well. But it's done its usual thing. It flowers, it grows. It's very easy to look after. Just sits on our kitchen windowsill in sort of bright but indirect sunlight most of the year, and it does very well. Unlike some of the species, my species are not doing very well at all at the moment. So this one's doing fine. My big one, the American hybrid, you can see how big this one is. There are actually 2 plants in here, but it split when I repotted it last time. They're both growing fans quite nicely, so the fact only one of them's flowered this year, I don't need to be bothered about. You had these and Morii femma at Q, and they were quite expensive. So I'm glad I've got mine and bought mine. I actually bought this in 2016 from Q. And And as I always said, is American hybrid, so it's fundamentally a no ID, quite a complex hybrid. But at the end of the day, although it's a big lump, it's incredibly easy to look after. If Phalaenopsis will grow, this will grow. So if you see one that's labelled American hybrid, I don't see any reason why you shouldn't go and have a try. It's worth it. This epidendrum is doing really well this year. The canes have grown very much longer than they were last year. We've got a lot of roots going down. It's a strange plant is this, it sort of grows cakeys and chucks roots down from all up, but by and large the roots go down into the pot. We've got lots of new growth, we've got lots of canes, I say, and these canes have got really tall. Where are we? It's just opened up in the last few days for the first part of this. I mean, isn't that absolutely wonderful? Gorgeous thing. So delicate. But again, fairly easy to look after. It's been sitting in the conservatory on the top shelf of the white rack all year round. It gets watered when it's dry. I stick my finger into the pot, or if I can see that the roots are green, I don't bother watering it again. I did have a problem with something. Because some of the leaves developed this pale edge. I'm not sure what it was, some kind of a leaf miner, but I gave it a really good spraying several times with the systemic, and that stopped it, and the new growths don't have it. Although the ones that developed it, those canes didn't particularly thrive. Like I say, the ones that have grown since are clear, and we're doing well. I really do like that. This is an epidendrum. It's possibly ballerina, orange ballerina or something like that, but it's basically a no ID. I think Roger's got something very much the same. And the last one I've got for this month, this is a nobly type dendrobium, the last of my noblies that are in flower. This is was sold to me by a member of the East Midlands Orchid Society as being Dendrobium akazukin. I don't know what it is or it isn't, because I've tried to look it up online and I can't find it. But whatever it is, it's quite a pretty one. Starting to go over, I think that one's going. But yeah, it's grown reasonably well. Looks like it's ready for a repot. So as soon as it puts some new growths up, it'll get a repot. So that's the last of the plants for this month. I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Bye for now.